So I have had a look through around the studio at the stores that we have here, just to see if there's any potentially suitable fabrics. I have found two potentials, one of which is the sort of pastel cornflower blue upholstery velvet. I do really like that one. I measured about 5.5 meters of it, and it's like an upholstery weight, but it's quite lightweight still, so I feel like I could I still got quite a bit of wiggle room for using it in the way that I want. Unfortunately, when I unrolled it, it was fine when it was flat, but as soon as I touched it, the pile obviously moved, which is what velvet does, but it didn't want to lie back down flat again, and it looks, there's finger marks all over it now, which seems a bit counterproductive for an upholstery fabric, because if you're using it to sit on and touch, then you don't want it to look weird. I'm undecided whether I'm going to use this or not, because it could work in my favour and help make it look like a doll would, because if it's a child's toy, they're going to be throwing it around, it's going to get grubby, it's going to be finger marks all over it, so it could potentially work in my favour. It could also make the whole costume look really grody, so I need to have a think about that and finalise my design before I set my hopes on that. The other fabric I found is a slightly heavier weight upholstery. It feels a bit stiff. Well, actually, it's about the same weight, really. It's not quite as soft, but it's the same thickness. But it's the back is really rough, but the top, the right side, is sort of like these tiny little velvety squares, and it looks very I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a very heavy woven fabric, but it's not. It's like a upholstery velvet thing. So the benefit of this one is that there is a lot of it. I found there's the smaller roll that I found initially, and then I found a huge roll that had been unopened, so that is a very nice plus. The colour is a little bit greener than I would have liked for Alice, but I can work with it. I'm not gonna stick my nose up at a fabric that's free, basically. So I have cut two little swatches to put right about in my folder. I need to have a proper think about what exactly is I'm doing, how I'm going to be structuring it, and what the amount of fabric is, because that also might be the decider, because obviously the blue velvet has a pile and there's only 5.5 meters. So it is quite likely that's not going to be enough unless I'm very careful with how I pattern, how I lay the pattern out. For now, I think I need to think about what undergarments I am going to have. So in terms of the petticoat, how that's going to be hung, how it's all going to fit together, because obviously, unlike my previous idea about having the outer fabric lighter, I do like how these ones sort of fold and crease, and pleat, that's the one. They look a bit they've got a bit more weight to them, and they just look a bit nicer, so they're going to stick out as I want, and but it does mean that I might need some heavier underpinnings, so I will probably need a hoop of some kind on top of or underneath the petticoats. So that's going to take a bit of engineering, and I need to find out how much net I need for that. But other than that, I think that's as much as I'm going to do for today. It is currently 3:45, so I'm at about the point where I need to start thinking about packing up. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there's anything else I need to think about for now. Another thing, the sort of like the greenier one, the one that looks more like it's woven, it will definitely need to be lined, because the back of this fabric is very scratchy. The other one I could have maybe gotten away with it, but it would just be good for it to be lined, which does add another problem about how heavy it is and how warm it's going to be to wear, because obviously sofas don't need to keep cool, and they don't go on stage unless they're very special sofas. So that's another consideration I need to take into account. But I think as far as everything else goes, that should be fine.